Mm-hmm. Hey, hello everyone. Good morning from Netherlands. So, welcome to SAP Online Track. Today's sessions, I'm going to talk about build your own SAP Conversational AI connector using SAP Conversational AI SDK. So, first of all, a big thanks and shout out to the SAP Online Track team. And I'm really honored to present this topic today. And due to this corona crisis, I guess this is one of the perfect time and a perfect opportunity for everyone, to present as well as getting a lot of knowledges in this event. So so a little bit about me. uh, I'm normally a SAP cloud platform uh, enthusiast. I also work in SAP conversational AI. This is basically one of my area which I am passionate about. And I thought maybe I can talk about some of the experience I have been going through from last 1 year. I mean, normally when I was dealing with a couple of customers, what their problem is, and how this problem could be solved uh, using some tricks and tips, and that's gonna I'm present today. So let's look at today's agenda. Uh, First, I will just give you a brief overview on SAP Conversational AI. Then maybe what about the standard third-party connectors are available in SAP Conversational AI, like Facebook Messenger. We have a Twitter. We have other connector. Then I will talk about a couple of famous business use cases where the third-party standard connector normally doesn't work. You have to build your custom connector. And then some the technical architecture of custom connector, how you can build your custom connector. So what is the architecture? And then maybe I'll show you the how the SAP conversational AI SDK works, how you can build those. And then a couple of examples, uh, and then questions and answer. All good?
Uh, Hi, Shrikant. Uh, Hi, Sudip. Your screen is frozen because you have to go in either, you stop stream and you start again. Then it will be, better.
Okay. Does it show the
And
changes?
then you go full screen if you have to go full screen. So
Yeah,
basically,
I have
you
in the full. I have already in the full screen. I don't know. Is
and
it
you
work?
have shared this. You have
Yeah,
shared that one
yeah.
because it's only on the first page I can see on the live stream.
What was it? Let me then reshare again. Let me restream again. Just a minute. Are you able to see now?
Yeah,
Okay, cool. So now it's changing, right?
yeah. Go ahead, please.
Okay, cool. So so everyone knows what SAP conversational AI is, but still I would just give you idea. It's basically the natural language processing technology platform, which allows you to build a bot. Okay, build a bot. You can even host it, and then you can connect with different channels. And finally, you can integrate with your ERP or your S4 or any kind of line of business, or even you can integrate with any other system. So that's all SAP Conversational AI is. Just to simplify it, what you can do with SAP Conversational AI and all other 5 pillars. Uh, the first one is train, where it definitely you build intent or you build your model and you train it. Then comes the building, where actually you build your conversational AI flow. Normally, you build your skills, you build your intent, and then there's something called integration. So integration is all about you integrate with your S4, I mean your backend system or your ERP system.
Sudeep,
Hello.
Sudeep, sorry to bother you. I think you'll either have to switch to normal presentation without going into slide, because when you're streaming, it only shows the old presentation, right?
Oh, is it?
So I
Sorry.
would suggest you don't go into presentation mode and stick to the right.
Oh, okay. Sorry. No problem. I'm just gonna then.
Can you
Now
try
is
that
it
out?
now is it look
Uh,
okay?
yes. Now we can see the five pillars.
Okay.
Proceed.
Yeah. Sorry. Sorry again. I guess there's some problem with my laptop internet. So what I was talking about is there's a five pillar of SAP Conversational AI. Definitely, one is a train, build, integrate, connect, and monitor. So what all these five pillar does is normally first is a training where you build intents and then you train your model. I mean, train your conversational AI. Build is where you build the conversational AI flow. Normally, the skills and the logic, and then integrations, which normally takes care about your connecting with a backend system. Okay, it could be your S4, it could be your ECC system, or it could be any kind of system from where basically you want to fetch a data, or maybe you want to execute some transactions. Okay, and then comes a connect pillar, which today we're gonna talk about, or which today moreover we'll discuss on this topic. Okay, where uh, what mean how you host your bot, because if you look at from the end user point of view, they they will not log into your SAP conversational AI. They will normally will be using some social messaging app which they are using in their daily to daily life, right? It could be your WhatsApp, it could be your Facebook Messenger, it could be your Microsoft Team, it could be Skype, anything it could be, which is very famous and which is very convenient to the end user. And today we're going to talk about more on this connect part and couple of business use case. And then comes the monitor. So monitor plays a very important role, because it comes in the training. Basically, you look at, okay, what exactly end users are uh, asking. You can see the conversational log and which intent it got triggered. I mean, how your conversational AI flow worked. All this thing basically, all this thing you can basically look at this monitor. Okay, so this five pillar is normally, you can say, it's a simplifying the conversational AI from the user's point of view, developer point of view. Now, if you look at the current channel, what are the current hosting channel available? So basically, you build your bot, you build your conversational AI flow, then normally you have to host it somewhere, right? So that people or the end user, uh, they want to use it ultimately. So, and whatever the third parties hosting platform available today, that is one is a messenger, one is normal message, one is Slack, one is Skype, Kik, Microsoft Team, Telegram, and Twitter. There's a definitely web chat and web client options are available, which you can embed in your website, as well as you can embed in your Fury Launchpad. But normally, uh, if you ask me, most of the customer looks for either Microsoft Team or either WhatsApp, this kind of platform, because normally they are very convenient to use this third-party standard connector, because that's normally people use mostly in their daily-to-daily life. But what is the problem with this third-party connector? If I look at just now in next you know couple of minutes, we'll look at the business use cases where this particular third-party connector may not be work, or may not satisfy your business use case. Sorry, let's look at this use case where the customer want to automate their SCP support through the WhatsApp. Okay, and but the problem is you don't have a standard WhatsApp connector you don't have a standard WhatsApp connector for SAP Conversational AI, right? You have a Facebook Messenger, you have a Twitter, you have Microsoft Team, but you don't have a Facebook. I don't have a WhatsApp. Sorry. And if you look at the uh, our daily usage, I mean daily in our life, we mostly engage in WhatsApp, right? I mean this is a most, I guess, most widely used app for messaging purpose. So how this problem could be solved? We don't have a standard connector for WhatsApp, and that's the reason we have to build our own connector. We have to build our own connector. So in order to build that, you need SAP Conversational AI SDK. So that's where the SAP Conversational AI SDK comes into the picture, which you can use, and you can build your custom connector. And how you gonna build? So see, the WhatsApp works totally in different way. If you have used some other platform like Facebook Messenger or Twitter or maybe Microsoft Team, uh, there the integrations or their connecting to the conversational AI is pretty straightforward. Basically, what you do normally, uh, conversational AI gives you one endpoint, and that endpoint basically you normally configure in your other platform as a webhook. So whatever message comes, so that message basically get passed through to your conversational AI platform. And again, whatever reply, I mean, based on your conversational AI flow, it gives you the reply back. But in WhatsApp, it's a totally little bit different, but almost same, I would say. So how it's a little different? Because WhatsApp doesn't have any kind of, you know, cloud platform or kind of options where you can configure the webhook. So that's the reason you have to go with the partner of WhatsApp. So currently there are two partners. I mean, as I know, those are very famous, and they are giving a communication cloud platform option. So one is a Twilio, another is a Messenger bot. So what basically we do there, we normally configure a webhook, okay, and that webhook is nothing but a program or applications which where we import the SAP CI SDK, and we normally through SAP CI SDK we communicate with the conversational AI. So in next slide, maybe I'll show you the architecture. You would get more sense, how normally uh, it works. So if you look at the architecture, I guess everyone, most of the people in the SAP community have seen this, because this is one of the blog last year uh, got quite attractions. So still, I would discuss about it. So here, if you look at this is the Twilio. This is a communication cloud platform. Okay, so this is your WhatsApp. So what you do when you send a message, first it comes in Twilio webhook, and this webhook basically get trigger a Twilio function. It's a very similar kind of things in SAP Cloud Platform called function as a service. So it's the same thing we have in Twilio. You can even configure SAP Cloud Platform function as a service instead of Twilio function, I would say. And then in this function is basically a Node.js based applications which talks to SAP Conversational AI through the SDK. Okay, and here is your conversational AI where you have designed the flow, and then based on that, like for example, you want to know some sales order, or you want to know some purchase order, or if you want to know anything, or you want to execute some transaction which is related to your S4 or which is related to your ECC, it would call those order to service. So that is basically again skill designing part, I would say. But this is how more the technical architecture looks like for WhatsApp. Now I'll talk another business use case. which is your Google Assistant. So if a customer want to integrate a Google Assistant with S4, or maybe they want to integrate with any kind of line of business, like for example, success factor, or maybe uh, you want to integrate with Fieldglass, or you want to integrate with Concur. I mean, there are a lot of line of business like C4C. So how do you do that? Through SAP Conversational AI, because there is no standard, again, there is no standard connector available for Google Assistant also. So again, here is the same kind of thing. So here also you have to connect through the SAP Conversational AI SDK. Normally, the Google Assistant is easily integrated with your dialog flow. So what basically you have to do is, in dialog flow, you don't have to design a skills. I mean, not a single skills. You just have to design a fallback skills. Uh, so there's a blank dialog flow with a one fallback skills, which would always trigger a webhook. So what does it mean? So when your conversational AI platform, any kind of conversational AI platform, is a blank, and you don't have a single skills, and you just have a fallback skill, so always your fallback skills will get triggered. And in the fallback skills, you have to design Express.js applications or Node.js applications, where you're gonna take all the messages from the user, and you're gonna pass it through SAP CAI SDK, and then you're gonna pass it through SAP Conversational AI SDK, SAP Conversational AI. And the same thing, like when the SAP Conversational AI get the message based on the conversational flow, a proper intent will get triggered, and if there is a requirement of the skills, then it's gonna ask, and same way, it's gonna give you the reply back. This is another use case. And here the good part is, if you are looking for you know building a bot in different local languages, so there are only 4 languages you can actually design very easily. There is a German, Spanish, French, and English. Okay, but for example, if I want to build a bot, okay, which doesn't which has to work with people who knows Hindi, or maybe some local languages which is not listed in SAP Conversational AI, then you can do a lot of stuffs, because you have a Google Translate SDK also. You know, before passing it to the SAP Conversational AI, actually you can translate, and you can pass it to SAP Conversational AI in English, and again you get the reply back in the same language that people ask for. So from the end user point of view, it would be a normal conversation, but in between there are a lot of things are going on. It's first converting to from local languages to English, from again, then when they're getting the reply back in English, from English to again local languages. So you know that's how you can bring more value. So let's look at the architecture. This is what I was talking about. So this is your Google Assistant, which is very integrated with Dialogflow. Dialogflow is it's a Google's Google Conversational AI platform, where you can design the same way, the way you design in SAP Conversational AI. Because we don't have any standard connector available for Google Assistant in SAP Conversational AI, we have to go through this route. Okay, so you have a dialog flow where I said there is no skill need to be designed, only one skill, that's called fallback. And in the fallback, you have a webhook. So what does it mean? When you send a message, so always your fallback skill will get triggered. Always. It doesn't matter what you say. Always your fallback skill will get triggered, and your message is gonna come, and it's gonna pass through to your Express.js application, which can be hosted in anywhere. It can be hosted in AWS, it can be hosted in Azure, DigitalOcean's SAP Cloud Platform, wherever the SAP, Node.js runtime gets supported. And then to the SDK, you can have also, as I said, Google Translate. You can import a Google Translate SDK to, if you want to give a flavor which understand all type of languages. So you can definitely import a Google Translate also. And then the same message could be passed to SAP Conversational AI. And again, the rest of the part is, almost, I would say it's almost same. It's a uh, you integrate with your ERP, you integrate with your uh, S4 system, you integrate anything. It doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. It's but that's the integration parts. Uh, you can integrate with any system. Okay. Then another business use case. This is one of the recent things. Like a customer want to read the user context. So user context mean, let me just give you a use case. For example, you are building a chatbot in conversational AI, and then you are hosting it in Microsoft Teams. So there is no way to read the user details, who is chatting with me. For example, I am the bot and you are chatting with me. I don't know who you are, if you don't build a custom connector. If you use a standard connector, so I have to ask bot, okay, hey, what's your name? What's your employee ID? Then I have to verify, that, okay, maybe I have to verify you through OTP, or I have to verify you through some mail. But how you gonna be ensured that whoever is chatting, all the details like email ID, employee ID, uh, name and everything almost. So that's where again the custom connector comes into the picture. You don't use the standard, you rebuild it using SAP CAI SDK, and then you can do all the stuffs. So here, normally it's a one of the use case. Uh, I was hearing from the customer. They most of the customer want to build their SAP conversational AI for IT support or something, and they want to host it in either Business Skype or in the Microsoft Team, and they want to definitely do the authentications, because without authentication, no enterprise bot works, right? You have to do the authentications, because otherwise people would anyone can do anything. So at the same time, they don't want it to ask user that, okay, what's your name again. It doesn't make sense, because for example, if I just look at a normal user point of view, if I am in an organizations which is having a Microsoft Team or Business Skype, and I am chatting with someone, I can see everything. I can see who is chatting, what is the employee ID, what is the email ID, what are the project he worked, everything I can see, right? So why not a conversational AI can see same thing? Ideally, it should be possible, right? So that's where your user context comes into the picture. And actually, I was last month, I was going through a couple of community questions, and many questions I have seen which was unanswered in SAP community, and related to the same questions, like a business user text. User context they wanted to read, how they want to how they can read the user context. So this is where SAP Conversational AI SDK come, and there's a concept called memory. The memory, it's not the same memory which we use for designing the skills, but it's a memory when we call any kind of conversational AI API through the SDK. Okay, and that time normally we have to pass it, and in the memory, what we pass is we pass the user context. So it's like, because when you are connected to Team, so definitely you can use the Microsoft bot framework to access the to access the user context like email address, then username, what is your name, I mean definitely all other thing like which projects you are tagged in, who's your manager, everything you can actually read. And then you can create as much as memory possible, in your when you'll be calling the conversational AI API like dialogue APIs, you can pass it as a parameter, and that data would be stored as a memory in SAP Conversational AI, and that memory you can actually use for any purpose. So, for example, you want to in this particular business use case, this is a employee who joined a new organizations, okay, and he just want to know that what are the things are pending. It's a very common use case. Basically, when we join a new organizations, it's first of all, the organization is very new to us. Okay, we don't know what exactly documents we have to submit, what other steps need to be completed in our employee portal. It's a very good to have a bot, who will not ask any questions like, okay, which department you are, or which what is your employed and all. Just tell you that, okay, this is all the things you have to pending, you have to go and you have to pending, you have to complete it in your system. So, and there you see it's a lot of value. Like, I just if you look at the conversational flow, it's like I have just said hi and it said, okay, hello. It can read my name without even giving. And then I said, okay, I just joined, I want to know what are the pending information need to be updated in my employee portal. So that's a success factor. So it just because it knows my employee ID, it knows my email ID. What it does is it just right away call the success factor APIs to read all the details. Okay, these are the things are pending for this guy. This he might have not updated the competency. So all this thing you fetch and just right away tell you, okay, this is other things pending. It's very cool, right? I mean, you don't have to go to HR, you don't have to ask people. It's just like it gives you a very 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 nice conversational AI experience at the same time. So let's look at the architecture. So this is your Microsoft Azure bot framework, because again, here also I'm not going to use the standard connector. There's a standard connector available. So for this, I mean, earlier two use cases, which definitely there is no connector available, but in this use case, definitely you have a standard connector available, but standard connector doesn't satisfy your needs because it cannot read the user details automatically, who is chatting. So that's where your custom connector comes into the picture. So it can be any kind of Microsoft messaging channel. It can be team, it can be business for Skype. And then you have this box, or where the Microsoft Azure bot framework, which allows you to read all the user details based on the session. And then there is a same webhook. So this webhook, again, this is another Node.js applications, and they're gonna use the SAP Conversational AI SDK to connect with SAP Conversational AI. So here you have already designed the SAP Conversational AI flow, okay, and this is the SDK. This is a Node.js applications, okay, where basically you have imported the SAP Conversational AI SDK and you are trying to communicate. You are trying to communicate with SAP Conversational AI. And the rest of the part is again same, as I said, it's integrations. Like you can integrate with as much system as possible. So in this particular use case, I am using the success factor. So there's a success factor REST APIs out there. I mean, audit APIs are there. You can go and check it out. There's a api.sap.com. Actually, it's a very nice platform where you can not only see the success factor, you can also see all the SAP solutions, all the standard APIs what are available, and that you can actually connect and you can read the data and you can send it back the same way. So this is how the Microsoft, you can build a Microsoft team connector, custom Microsoft team connector, which definitely uh, add a lot of values because it gives you the user details, and at the same time you don't have to authenticate. That's the beauty part of it. You can read everything about user, and you don't have to you know tell a lot of things like, okay, my name is this, my email ID is this. Okay, then you don't even have to verify a particular user. So that's a good part. And now moreover I'll talk about the SDK. Okay, what are the SDKs are available, what other languages the SAP Conversational AI SDKs are available, and how you can use them. And definitely whatever I showed you, I would definitely discuss the code snippet also for all the three use cases what I just discussed. So the SAP Conversational SDK available in multiple languages. One is Node.js, Python, iOS, PHP, Android, Ruby. So this Node.js and Python is mostly widely used when we design such kind of connector. Okay, where you want to integrate with custom. You want to integrate with third-party platform where the connector either not available or it is not solving your business needs. So they are mostly people use Node.js and Python, but yeah, definitely you can use uh, PHP as well as Ruby. So if you're comfortable with PHP, you can definitely build your connector with PHP, and if you are comfortable with Ruby, then also you can build. So iOS and Android, this is also very very nice SDK. I will tell you the use case. Okay, where you need a iOS SDK and the Android SDK. So for example, you want to uh, build an app either in Android or in the iOS. Okay, which is same like a WhatsApp, or which is like just a messaging app. Okay, but you want to give customer to a totally custom messaging bot. uh, then you need to use iOS SDK, or you need to use the Android SDK if you are building it for Android. So that's a totally custom messaging app, which is only would be able to interact with the bot. You'd be not able to interact uh, with any kind of user. Definitely you can add the functionality, but normally uh, when the customer goes for iOS or Android, they normally uh, build a messaging app or building a chatbot in the Android or the iOS. So that app would be only able to connect or only able to communicate with separately with your conversational AI system. So it's all about the customer requirement, but normally in those kind of use cases, uh, the iOS and Android SDK comes into play. Okay, so how are you gonna use the SAP Conversational AI SDK? So here I'm not gonna discuss uh, how you can use in other languages, but mostly because the Node.js is one of the common languages for SAP developer nowadays. So I'm gonna talk about only the how we're gonna use in Node.js, but almost it's a kind of same for Python also. But there is a GitHub link. I would show you how maybe there you can see the how you're gonna use the SDK in other platform or other languages like iOS, Android, PHP, Ruby, and other platform. So normally the name of the uh, SAP CI SDK module is called SAP CI. So you just have to import the module first. That's how we normally, whenever we import any Node.js module, right? Like Express or body parser or request, any kind of which normally we use in our day-to-day life. You just have to import it, and then this is basically you want to use it. So you just It's basically same way normally you use any kind of module. And then this is your token. So this token is basically you get it from your SAP Conversational AI. So there is a bot token is there in SAP Conversational AI. I don't know I'll be able to show you or not here. Maybe after the slide I'm gonna open a Chrome and I'm gonna show you where you'll get this particular token. Okay. And then this is what I was talking about. So this is the dialog API. I mean, this dialog API. Okay, another thing I'm just gonna add here. You can use either dialog API in your conversational AI SDK, or without SDK also you can do. That is, there's a REST API available. Okay, for SAP Conversational AI. So that's a dialog API. So which does the same thing, which does the totally same thing. But I am convenient to more on the SAP Conversational AI SDK side. Uh, but actually there's a standard REST APIs are also available. Okay, which called dialog API, which allows you to do the same thing, which allows you to connect with SAP Conversational AI almost in the same way. And almost it does this, almost everything it does the same thing. So you have to, this is your text which you get from the user. Okay, maybe WhatsApp, or maybe uh, Google Assistant, or maybe your Microsoft team, and that you pass. And this is a conversation ID. So the conversation ID could be anything. Like you can just give a you can use just even the ID of the user, or even maybe you can use the session ID of the that particular third party platform. Okay, but I would say like you don't change it for a particular same user. Okay, you always keep it same, because normally if you change it, what would happen is, because this is gonna work as a session ID in your conversational AI. Okay, so for example, you are fetching some details for first time, and that you're gonna use it for uh, all the time. For example, you are asking some details to the user. Okay, um, that you're gonna keep it for, I mean, whole lifetime or whole life cycle for the only particular user. Okay, then I would say like if you change the session ID or conversation ID, what would happen is it would just get void. So that's the uh, that's how the conversation ID works. And then normally you can get the reply. Okay, in this res.message. I mean, in there basically we'll get the uh, response, and that response either you can either use in, you have to pass it to the channel from where it came. Okay, so that's how normally we use the SAP Conversational AI SDK. Now I'm gonna show you the code snippet. Okay, all the use cases I discussed, like first WhatsApp, then Google Assistant, then the Microsoft team. So here, so this is basically the code, is a piece of code of the function uh, which is deployed in Twilio functions. So I'll just explain you what exactly it does. So in order to interact with Twilio, there's a call Twilio markup language. So that's why you see this is a Twilio markup languages. I'm creating an object. Okay, and then same way, I am first first imported the connector SAP CI, I mean imported the SDK, and then same way I'm creating the objects, and I'm using the methods dialogues. So here the same way that you see, like this is text normally. Okay, the type is a text, and this is the content. So content normally comes from the event.body. So event.body capture the message or text normally a user send, you know so, and then you definitely you interact or you communicate with conversational AI, and again the same way you get the response. And then, as I said, in order to interact with Twilio, there is a Twilio markup languages. So you use Twilio markup language dot message. This is a method to print the message. Okay, and automatically, as I said, the Twilio is a partner of WhatsApp, so it's a very tightly, very integrated with WhatsApp. So whatever you print, it will automatically uh, display in your WhatsApp. So this is how you build a connector or custom connector for WhatsApp. And this piece of code, uh, you could even deploy in either Twilio or either SAP Cloud Platform functions, or even you can deploy in as a Node.js Express.js applications. The only thing is you have to look is how you're gonna capture the parameter from Twilio and how you're gonna pass it again back to Twilio. That's the key thing, and that's the trick, and that's what you have to look for. But if you use a Twilio function, then it becomes super easy. Okay, as I said, it's a very tightly integrated. You don't have to write a lot of code. It's just a 5-6 line of code gonna make the magic. So now the next slide. Okay, this is what the Google Assistant connector. Okay, so I don't know you are able to see or not. It's very small. Sorry for that. I'm just a little bit. Uh, yeah, I guess now it's visible. So this is basically Express.js applications. Okay, normally I'm gonna read the request in the request parameter from what it coming from the Google Assistant, and then you can see there is also I'm using the translations uh, SDK or translation APIs. So it's basically Google Translations. There is a standard Google Translations Node.js module is there. You can actually import it and you can use it for your different translation functionality. And it does work pretty well. I have seen that it does work pretty well. Like you can translate. It can detect also what languages someone is speaking. For example, you are speaking in maybe Hindi, or you're speaking in local languages which is not listed in SAP Conversational AI. It can understand, it can detect, because Google Translate have more language capability than any other platform. Okay, so it gonna detect it, and as I'm going to convert it, or as I'm going to translate it in English, so before passing it to conversational AI, okay, I'm gonna translate it in English, and then I'm gonna pass. So you don't have to design your conversational AI platform in other languages. You just design it in English. Okay, you get the message in English, you reply it back based on your conversational AI skills and the conversational AI flow, and when again you're gonna print or you're gonna send the message back to the user, before that what you can do is you can actually translate to the same language what user asks for. So for example, I'm speaking in Hindi first. What it's gonna do, it's gonna translate first in Hindi to English before passing to conversational AI, so that my conversational AI would be able to understand, because it's not designed in Hindi. Okay, it can understand. It can give me the reply back in English. Again, there is a filter, or there is another filter which again does the translation back to the Hindi, because I asked in Hindi. So here exactly doing the same thing. you know so first you can see the detect languages. Okay, then it's basically translating to English here. Okay, and then I am passing the translated English one as a message to conversational AI and getting the reply back. And again I'm passing again I'm changing it to the detected language. See, and then the reply is coming back in the language a user normally asked. So this is a one very good use case where actually you can build the language. I mean, you can you can solve the language barrier with a Google Translate and the custom connector which can be built on SAP Conversational AI SDK. Now there's another one which I was discussing. It's called Microsoft Team. So here actually the code I couldn't paste the whole code because it was not giving the space enough. But what I can do is I can show you the code. I can walk through the code, which I have definitely in the blog or in the GitHub, I guess. So that definitely I can show, but I can tell you what exactly how it is working. Okay. So the why I have snippet only, why I pasted only a particular code, because I wanted to show you the memory concept of it, or the user context part of it. So you can see normally I have got a email ID. Okay, this is a functions which I was having in my Node.js applications, which reads the email ID from using the Microsoft bot framework. Okay, so for example, you are chatting in Microsoft Team, so definitely there is a sessions get created in your Microsoft Team, and that session can be used, for reading the user details. It can be name, it can be your user ID, it can be your email, anything. So here normally I needed that email ID, because that's where that's what actually need to pass in the success factor for reading all the user details. So I got the email ID, and then I'm interacting with the SAP Conversational AI. Okay, and how I'm going to interact the same way. The type is a text. Okay, and this is a normally session.message.text. Basically, this is the message I have received from the Microsoft Team. Okay, and then here you see this parameter actually uh, I never used in earlier use cases or earlier examples. So this is where we pass the memory. So I am passing mail, and the value is a email. So mail is a key and value is an email. And the same way I'm just passing the name. And these two memory is actually going to be stored in your SAP Conversational AI. So whenever you require, for example, I need to call the success factor API, right? And I need that, okay, who is the user, what are the things are pending. Okay, I need to pass the email ID or the user ID. So I can actually take this from SAP Conversational AI memory. I don't need to ask to user. I can use it whenever I need it. So the same way it just basically communicate with the SAP Conversational AI platform. So yeah, I guess this that's all from my side. And now if you have any questions, definitely I would be happy to answer.
Yes, we have few questions.
Mm-hmm.
So first one is how to achieve SSO and integrate to SAP Cloud Platform via SAP Conversational AI.
Okay, so this is a different off topic, but I'm gonna answer that. See, for achieving a single sign-on, okay, single sign-on is possible only with web client. Okay, it is not possible with third-party connector. So third-party connector, how you can achieve single sign-on is the same way you can build your custom connector, and that's how you can achieve it. But when it comes to the integrating or achieving the single sign-on with web client, first you need a IAS. So IAS or the IDP, any kind of IDP. It can be your Microsoft Azure AD, or it can be, I mean, Active Directory, or it can be your identity authentication service. Okay, and there's a now there is a they have actually included a very nice walkthrough tutorial. At the same time, it's gonna set up your single sign-on. Maybe I don't know, I'm allowed to share the browser. Are you able to see my browser also?
Uh, no, Sudeep, as of now, we can see only the screen. So that's why, because
Just a minute.
I think
let, let me.
let's stick to it. Maybe we can take it to the, in case somebody has any questions, we can, take it to the conference room also.
Sure,
So
sure,
for
sure, sure.
now, okay. So I have another question, which is how to connect dialog flow to my Node.js app running in SCP Cloud Foundry, which is behind custom identity provider.
Yeah, so that's the same way I showed you, like how we can actually integrate the Google Assistant. So there is a in Dialogflow, you can, there is a webhook option is there. Okay, skill fulfillment. There actually you have a webhook options. Okay, and so what you have to do is, you said like Node.js application would be running on the Cloud Foundry, right? It's in SAP Cloud Platform or any kind of Cloud Foundry, and that Node.js application's link or the endpoint you have to provide in the webhook in the skill fulfillment in the dialog flow. That's how basically you integrate your Node.js applications running in Cloud Foundry, and you integrate it with dialog flow. Yep.
And we have a request like some tutorials for SSO links. So maybe for
Yeah.
whoever.
So
Yes.
yes, for single sign on, actually earlier, I don't know who have got the update or who have got the updated version of SAP Conversational AI. Yesterday, basically, after May 30, there is a new conversational AI. There are a lot of changes happen in the conversational AI platform. So earlier, there was no walkthrough. Okay, there is no walkthrough setup for single sign on, setting up the single sign on. Okay, but now after May 30, if you just go to your SAP Conversational AI platform, you go to a Connect tab, and there is, you can see the web client. Okay, now if you click on the web client, you actually don't need a tutorial. It is very simple as you connect with your now Microsoft Team or any kind of third party connector. It's now it's becoming a same. Actually, it's a very nice walkthrough setup they have provided, so you don't have to struggle a lot. It's just like you have to follow what they are saying, and that's it. And the way you used to set up bot for Telegram, or used to set up a bot for, I would say, Microsoft Team or any third party platform like Kik or Line. So same way, now they are providing options to set up the single sign on also, and that's a very good part. But you have to have a IES, okay, the SAP Cloud and Identity Authentication Server. So that is a prerequisite. If you don't have a IES, then you cannot set up single sign on.
Thanks, Sudeep. So basically, we don't have any further question as of now. I think it's time now that I run the basically wheel where we pick up the whoever has won the Open SAP coupon. So I am just spinning the wheel and I will just announce the name. Okay. So and the winner is Dilip Kumar Kausan. So Dilip, congratulations, and you can ping us and Discord also on our server. And so that's it. So I'd say a great session.
Thank you. Thanks a lot. And definitely, if you want to reach me out, I mean, I'm just asking audience, you can reach out to me, and definitely we can have a discussions. Okay. And again, thanks, and really great job done by SAP Online Track team. It's like for great cause. At the same time, in this Corona crisis, I guess there is nothing better than this we could get. So again, thank you so much for organizing this kind of event, and I'm really honored to present this topic. Again, thank you so much, everyone, for joining also.
Okay, thank you, everyone.
Yeah, bye.